All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. We're going to talk about, Sam, we're going to talk about New York Times national champion UConn Huskies against Fresno State.
This is ridiculous to me. You told me about this. I had not seen this, but this is absolutely ridiculous that New York Times called UConn the national champion. What? Help me out here.
Guaranteed you this. I can't help you. I can't explain that. That's not the world I live in. Look, I'm not, listen, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Randy Edsall 100% got a bonus for that though, right?
Sure.
There's no doubt Randy Edsall found a couple $1,000s in that contract that says, hey man, if any paper in the country names me national champion, I'm going to need a little bit of bonus here.
Yeah. So UConn didn't play at all last year.
That's right.
And
0 football games.
And the year before, 2019, they were lousy.
They're
2-10.
They're pretty bad.
They have not played a game since November 30th, 2019. That's almost 2 whole years.
I'm going to bet that game didn't go well for them either. I don't know what it was. I don't know the schedule of it, the score of it. I'm going to bet it was a lot to a little.
It was, in fact, a lot to a little. Yeah, UConn is bad. We have no idea who's even going to play for them. I mean, how can you?
No, yeah, they didn't play last year. I got no idea who's coming back. We know nothing about this team.
But what I do know is that Fresno State is frisky.
Yep.
Kalen DeBoer, his first year as head coach there. They went 3-3 last year. Obviously, limited schedule, but they look decent. I mean, this is a team that I think could make a little bit of noise in the Mountain West. This is a big number.
It is a big number. So one of the people that the key that you got to look for in these things, this is what I look at, okay? When you're coming into week 0, week 1 games where we don't know anything about these guys, I believe that 80% of the stuff we hear about in training camp is all a lie. It's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. You can't trust that. I'm going with coaches. I'm going with quarterbacks. I'm going with reputation and prestige. Here's what we've got. On one side, we've got Randy Edsall, who is 6-30 since returning to UConn, all right, since 2017. 3 seasons, 6-30. That's bad. The other side, Kalen DeBoer taking this thing over. They brought in a transfer quarterback. I'm gonna butcher this name, Jake Haynier. There's an N and then an ER, so I would normally just say Haney, but the ER throwing me off. So Haynier, maybe. I'm sure that sounds awful and is not right, but I like a team that you've got basically an old OC taking over as head coach, stepping into this position. He knows this team. He knows so much about them. He knows how to run them, and I believe he's going to say, you know what, I don't have what I need in the cupboard at the trigger man position. Let me go get that guy. And I trust that this grad transfer from Washington, if you were good enough to go play big boy Power 5, Pac-12 football, you got to be good enough to come down to Fresno and compete and play. And it's so nice to be able to start off with a team like UConn, where I just don't think these guys. I don't think you get better at practicing football. I think you have to play football. And the fact that they haven't played football in over a year, I just think, yes, minus 27.5 is a big number. If it was bigger than this, I would still take Fresno State, just for the simple fact that they might not cover this line. And this might be a losing pick. But there's no world in which, in good conscience, good faith, that I can put money on Randy Edsall and the UConn Huskies until watching them play at least a couple of games.
How big of a number would it need to be for you to maybe think about taking the points?
I think at 35, I'm starting to stay away, not bet it. And I think once we get to the 40s is when you start to get me to think, will I actually bet on UConn? So getting me to stay away is not hard. Getting me to not put my capital, my money, my hard-earned income on it is not that difficult. Getting me to actually bet UConn, man, I think that number has to get to the mid 40s. And the reason I say that is because I'm just betting then Fresno State's offense isn't that great and they just won't score that much. And this game ends up being a 38-0 ball game or a 38-3 ball game. And so if I'm in the mid 40s, I'm okay. I'm safe. That's the only thing that, that would get me to UConn to actually pull the trigger on UConn.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, 27.5 is a big number.
Big number.
But UConn is traveling across the country. I mean, body clock game.
Pretty long trek.
Make of that what you will, but 4 touchdowns, I think, against a team that hasn't played in 2 years. Give me the Huskies.
I will tell you, I will completely and utterly judge Fresno State off of this game for the rest of the year. If they don't cover this number and they go on to be undefeated, I'll be standing here in January, in December, telling you, this team's a fraud. How do you not cover against this trash opponent like UConn? Oh, I would say I hate it for UConn fans, but I don't. Outside of basketball, I don't know any UConn fans.
Yeah, how many UConn fans really are there?
They were in my conference. I'm living in Memphis, Tennessee right now. I am in the heart of the American, and I never ran into or discussed with any UConn fans at all. I've pretty much associated myself with some of every conference opponent that Memphis plays just because people come to Memphis for games. And we run into them when you're walking in these circles and you're working in these circles. And I don't know of any at all